Nostalgia could be one of the most common reasons why you can still being watched. Now, when I've said in my recent video that you are being watched, somebody did comment that they don't have socials. You don't have to have socials in order for your ex to have feelings, for her to be, let's say, in other words, keeping tabs or have still interest, even unsolved issues that you guys might have not figured out yet. I say this because you don't have to have her be direct. Most times a female is not even direct anyways. But when this happens, it's more of like what the discussion will be based off of you or thoughts and memories that has already been made. Because when she is having nostalgia, it's more about wanting to like relive it in a sense. And it's like reminiscing. However, it's like kind of going back to that and wanting to create it again in a sense. So that can just be one of the main reasons. I always say that you want to always be aware of the type of female that you dated, because if she's more about relationships, as they say, a lover girl or something, then the likelihood of what you guys had, especially if it was good, is still in a sense in her thoughts, right? And then if it's triggered or it happens, comes about at certain times, that's where those sensitive emotions, feelings towards you can kind of come back up. And if they do so, that's where you could be getting indirectly watched. Now, it could be socials if you do have socials, but another common one is just simply like if you guys now have mutual friends, had mutual friends from the past, family members, some sort of association back to each other, those can definitely be things that keep you guys attached indirectly. But I'm saying not for you necessarily, mainly for her if she tries to use it as an advantage for herself and back to kind of like find an entryway into your life, so back to access. Let me ask this question for the question of the video. Have you ever experienced getting indirectly noticed or having the sense that she is watching you, or have you gotten straight up? Obviously, if you have each other on socials, that's obviously straight up. If not socials, maybe, as some have said, you might get the unknown caller IDs numbers, or she's calling from another number, maybe even friend requests, watching you from a burner page. There could be so many different situations. And I did mention also how it could be about those associations. So like it could be she knows one of your friends or you know one of hers, and they could get information from that person, which is another topic as well. I'm not going to dive into it so much in this video, but just remember that it doesn't need to be that she's talking directly to you or you directly have to see her name pop back up in order for you to know that she is watching you, or you are you are still being talked about. Like, you don't have to have it to be known in your head where it's clear and it's obvious and it's there as proof in order for it to be the truth. Now, to remind y'all, always remember that there is consultations available to talk about what's going on with you if you do want to book. And then don't forget about other products to help you figure out what it is that's happening in your situation, what to do that is best. And don't forget about Patreon. You can join as a free member if you would like. If not, there is other tiers you can join. There is 250 plus content to catch up on. And free members do get exclusive video each month. So definitely don't miss out on that. And there's a community going on there. So now to just wrap up, just remember you shouldn't even be caring so much in the sense of like, if she has more of a built-up, that's going to end up leading her to, let's say, wanting to be back in communication, or all this like watching from a distance directly or indirectly leads to intensified feelings or lingering feelings, then that's going to be affecting her bottom line. And also remember, if you dated also a woman that's not ready for a relationship, commitment, or isn't about you, or has a roster, all those sorts of stuff, then does it even matter? No, because you can see her name, but she's not going to be really ready for change, or that's the last thing that she wants to do, or she's temporarily going to be doing it. So she's already going to be a liability, and I would think that most of y'all would not want to put yourself in a situation like that. So just be very careful and be selective to what females you let back into your life, and don't let it be that you are entertaining it, thinking that it's not a big deal, or even letting, like, let's say something get to you, like a text message that she says to you. And even just for your own mental state sake, don't let like you going back to like pictures you guys have. I'm not even sure why you would have pictures if you're really, really done with her for good. I mean, like, for good. It doesn't mean that you just got out of a relationship. But like, if it's 3 months or a year, I would not know why. But some people keep it. That's your business. But like, so things that can be triggering, I would recommend that you definitely don't keep it around, because when she does end up coming back around, it could have been that she was triggered. But for your own mental health sake, you don't want it to be that you're setting yourself back, because what could happen is that now that she's not around you so much, she could see your worth at least more than she did while you guys were together. So for your own sake, you want it to be that you are now aware, whether you're adding more than the time that she has left your life, or you're now recognizing the value that you've been had, then your awareness is actually there. Either or, you want it to be that that doesn't get altered in any way and shifted based off of how she treats you or her perception, and how she decides to go based off of things. Once more, she's perceiving it to be a certain way. If that gets to you enough, that can make you think that the watching you is even worth something when it really doesn't. If she has a huge reality check of like there's not much options, the indirect watching you can quickly turn into direct. And that's where, like, if you guys don't have each other's numbers blocked, that access is there. Other things as simple as never fully moving on is obviously possible. And sometimes you would think that like after some months is done deal, but sometimes after like 3 months, 6 months, it's not that it's done there. I always have to tell fellas, sometimes maybe it's about her having to experience. It's not necessarily yourself. So it doesn't mean that you should be feeling away about what she wants to do now or what direction she's headed towards, especially if it's detrimental to your relationship and it's done at this point. So lastly, to just conclude everything together, be very selective at this point. You could know why she's doing it, what's the reason, but it doesn't matter so much, and it really shouldn't hold too much weight or none at all, and it shouldn't affect you. And of course, if it's unsolved issues, for your own sake of closure, if you feel like there's things that need to be resolved, then maybe it could be a good idea, but that has to be the last time, because then again, tests do come with watching you and being back in communication. And sometimes y'all even fell out because you failed the test and you might have like lacked in your self-esteem, confidence, leadership role, masculinity, etc. So I say that to say, like, again, questioning if it's really worth it will help you really navigate the type of direction, the best way to go about things. And generally speaking, it's also just what type of relationship that you have, because certain ones can require more. In general, if you had something more serious, or if you have kids with a person, that's not just done like that. If you guys are married or did get married and are going through a divorce or now divorced, like, it's not as simple as obviously people that just met or been dating for a few weeks. And bottom line is, if that, even if you did live, or I mean date for a few weeks or something later, or a few months, sometimes things do move fast. So I'll always say, be attentive to your situation, right? If they come back because they have belongings at your house, right? They can be watching you from a distance. You never know. You could actually have a stalker seeing who's coming over, or it could literally even be y'all go to the same school. So whether it's campus or even workplace, all those sorts of stuff can tie you back together, and it also can make your situation very unique and different than what another person, let me say, has than what you have. The difference is there. So just really know what it is with y'all. And if you still are not sure or you want more clarity, definitely book your consultation. We could talk about all that. Don't forget about Patreon. And that's going to be it for this video. Take care of yourself. I love y'all. Bye, y'all.